Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Christina Nelson Show, where we motivate, inspire, and heal. And tonight is no different. Have you ever been around in a room full of women, right? And it seems like when one woman walks in, we all stop and we kind of look her up and down. We're like, oh, okay. Oh, she look cute. Her hair is done. She got on some cute shoes. She looks nice. Or better yet, when a woman comes into the office, she's new and we kind of look her up and down again and say, oh, okay, Now, in your head, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, um, I like what she has on, but I think I look better. Are you saying, "Oh, her hair all right, but I can know she got a little bit of her hair showing there, right there. Her lace ain't too front ain't work laying down too tight. Her shoes got a little scuff on the side. Are you building her up? Or are you tearing her down when you see her? And are you able to go up to a woman and say, "Sis, you are rocking that outfit right there. I love that purse. Wow, you have a pretty smile. Wow, that color lipstick looks really good on you." What are you doing when you see another woman? And that is what our show is going to be about tonight. Women who can empower women who aren't afraid to compliment another women who do not find other women as their competition. And so we are going to get started real soon. I just want to shout everybody out. Hey, everyone who's on Facebook. Hey, everyone who is on YouTube. Welcome to the Christina Nelson Show. Thank you, Vanessa. Hey, Tonya. I see you, Charlena. What's up to my husband over there? Hey, Marla, how you doing? Anyone else who's on for the first time, let me hear you where you're from. I want to shout you out and welcome you to the Christina Nelson Show, especially if you're here for the very first time. My next guest, I saw her on another woman who everyone knows. Everybody knows Chanel Monique, Chanel Monique, ChanelMonique.com. Okay. If you remember her, then she hangs out with nothing but the best, and she always has something positive to say. And so when I saw this young lady on her show or in her feed, I just was like, you know what? I have to have her on here. Hey, Gandhi, how are you doing, my dear? So without further ado, I'm going to read a little bit of her bio, and then I'm going to introduce her and bring her on up to the screen. Okay, her name is Tonya M. Cowan, aka Miss Positivity. See, how can you not bypass that? Miss Positivity is the owner of Miss Positivity LLC, a marketing and e-commerce business. Under her Miss Positivity brand, she offers as you wish websites, engagement, and marketing, where she provides marketing services to small business owners and entrepreneurs and Adorable Designs, which is an empowering apparel company that offers a shirt, accessory, and home good designs to inspire women. Tanya is also the founder and director of Designed with a Purpose, CFS, aka DWAP, a 501c3 nonprofit organization that empowers young ladies and women in a community to promote sisterhood. She is a graduate of East Carolina University with a Bachelor of Science degree in business education, a mother of two daughters, and bonus mom to one son. Her services have one thing in common: inspiration, and her motto is, if I've touched one person, I have done my job. And so you see why she is on this show today, especially with this topic. So without further ado, let me bring on Sister Tanya.
Hi.
Hello, Tanya. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Be
doing
quiet.
very well, very well. It's
Yeah,
good to see you on here. Thank you for
good to
saying
see
yes and being
you.
a guest. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. It's an honor. Thank
You
you.
are very welcome. Very
Mhm.
welcome. So first, before we start, let's introduce. I know I did the whole thing, your thing, so you really don't have too much to say, but just kind of go in there and give us a little bit more about yourself if you want to.
Yeah. So I can tell everyone where Miss Positivity came from. So I like, again, to inspire other people, especially women. It's just in me, and my name is Tonya. So I was like, oh, I spread positivity. Let's kind of break that down to Miss Positivity. So that's how that was branded, or how I came up with that. As she said, I actually work a 9 to 5 amongst all those other things that
Oh
she
wow.
said. I am a trade show marketer, so I plan trade shows and events for the company that I work for through the day, and I do all the other things in my spare time. Which when does she have that? In the evenings, on the weekends, but I do rest. That is very important
Okay.
to have some
It's
days
very important because I'm like, yeah, all that I just need, and you still work a 9 to 5. Wow.
to do. It's not paying the bills yet, so I have to do what I have to do. I have to do what I have to do.
But
Yeah,
we're gonna make sure that one day it does pay the bills, right? Where you
absolutely.
won't
That's the
have to. You can
goal.
come off that job, come off that
That's
9 to 5.
that's the goal. That's the goal. Absolutely.
All right, that is wonderful. So where do you hail from? I'm sorry, where are you from?
I'm originally from Salisbury, North Carolina, but I live in Morrisville, North Carolina, which is the Raleigh Durham area. For those who don't know where Morrisville is, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm a North Carolinian. If you hear the country, that's why.
Okay, I understand, and it's no
Uh-huh.
problem with me. I still understand you.
Good.
So we are talking today about women empowering women. I seen it and I read it in your bio how
Mhm.
most of your what you do inspires women. It's
Yeah.
for women. It's to encourage women. What
Absolutely.
made you go that route?
For a number of reasons. Growing up, I don't know if it's a small town, if it's just being women, but I grew up in a small town. So, growing up in a small town, some of the challenges that I had as a young lady growing up, the insecure feelings of, I don't look, the right part, or I wish I was like her, or,
Hmm.
all these things that we do to ourselves to compare ourselves to other
Right.
people.
Hmm.
And then, growing up and moving away from home and really finding me, but then having daughters who was experiencing some of the same things I experienced. I'm like, wait a minute,
Right.
something's going on here. And
Hmm.
so that's why it was laid on my heart to start Design with a Purpose, so that we can start. It originally was going to be to mentor young ladies, and it still will be. I just have to do some things right now to get things in order, right? Because working with children, you have
Yeah.
everything in order.
Hmm.
So, but the goal is to mentor young ladies and women in the community, and to help them understand who they are. Like, you are enough. That we shouldn't compare ourselves to others. We shouldn't compete with one another. Things like that. And so that's what led to starting Design with a Purpose. The marketing business was really like, I've been in marketing 20 plus years. This is just what I do. And it's like, I'm doing these things for other companies, making the money. I can really do this myself. And so I've been
Hmm.
doing that since 2018. As You Wish was an event planning company first. But it was just like, okay, you planning events at work and you planning events for yourself. Let's back up a second. So, and then the e-commerce, it's just like, how can I make money in my sleep, right? And t-shirts is a good thing. As I was asking you about your t-shirt backstage, like, where did you get that
Mhm.
from? I loved it. So that's how that kind of came about, and it all truly is designed to inspire other women. Like, let's come together. Let's find ways to empower and inspire each other.
Perfect. Yeah, let's find these ways, and it begins when they're young.
Yeah.
I remember, like, what I was describing was I was doing it to be funny in the
Yeah.
beginning, but it's so true how you can walk into a room, or a woman walks into a room, and we size each other up. It's
They
so
do.
natural. We really do size one another up when we're
Yeah.
looking at each other to see what her hair looks like, what her makeup looks like, and what,
Mm-hmm.
everything is. And I always would joke, and we would joke when we were younger, saying, when a woman gets dressed up, she's not dressing up for the men, she's dressing up for the
For
other
us.
ladies. And we're looking to see, who looks good, who looks good
Yeah.
in what.
Like, oh, I want
And
that outfit. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but how
It's
many
that,
of
I
us?
don't know if it's that instinct.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know what
don't
it is.
know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. We
But
do that.
but how many of us, do it with actually looking and saying, she looks nice. I
Right.
really like what she looks like. Or are you doing
Absolutely.
it to compare yourself in a negative way? Or are
Yeah.
you looking it to say, maybe I don't add up to that. I wish I looked like that. And so
Hmm.
there's so many different components to that woman,
Absolutely.
that one woman who looks fierce walking into the
Yeah.
room. You
Hmm.
have the woman that's going to look you up and down, will roll her eyes. You're going to have the
Hmm.
woman that's going to be like, you look good. And
Oh,
then you're
yeah.
going to have the woman who says, I wish I looked like that. I don't look good like that. And
Yeah.
then we start second
Absolutely.
guessing ourselves, right? We're looking at her
And then we're
hair
like, oh,
like,
let me fix my,
let
wait a
me
minute.
see what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. Hmm.
Right?
We do it.
We
We
do
do
it
it.
all
That's
the time.
facts.
Look, Chanel
Yeah.
Monique is on. She says, oh,
Hey,
wait. Oh,
Chanel.
hey, Alyssa. She says, y'all look gorgeous. All
Oh,
right.
thank you.
And this is someone who always looks gorgeous. Always,
And
always,
always
always
have it
looking nice.
together. Always.
Always,
I still
yes,
need those
yes.
shoes from the event she did for me last year. I still need them shoes. Oh my
This is
God.
last year, Chanel. So you better
Oh
get
my
on it,
goodness.
okay?
They were gorgeous.
Awesome, awesome. And so you do look at people like that. And so
Mhm.
what that you were saying, like, it's just, what is that? Is it like, is
Yeah.
it an innate thing? Is it something
Hmm.
that we're just kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
uh, we're born in that era? Is it something
Yeah.
that we've always? Was it pushed in us since back in the day times,
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
had the brown paper bag test, and you
Come on.
had all those kind of things, going on. And if
Yeah.
anyone doesn't know what I mean by brown paper bag test, it was back in the days, especially if in colleges, when someone would go for a sorority, and if they were darker than a brown paper bag, then it was a no go. So sister
Mm.
girls here would have been like, nah,
Mm-mm. Yeah. No.
we
Those
wouldn't
are.
have made it in.
Listen. That's real stuff. That's
It
real.
is.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
We do
real
it
and
to
it's sad.
ourselves. It's
Mhm.
to me, it's a lot with what you just said, but
Mhm.
it's mean girl syndrome, right? Let's just back up that a little bit from being in school, and
Yeah.
as girls can
Mhm.
be very mean and sneaky,
Mean.
right?
Mhm.
With how they do things, and the bullying and all those things, to make you feel less than. And a lot of times they just wanted what you had. We're young. We don't know when we don't know what we don't know,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And it's that whole competition thing from being little girls, right?
Mhm.
Growing up, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I
Hmm.
remember being teased. I remember because we didn't have a lot of money,
Hmm.
um, and I didn't have the clothes that maybe some of the girls had, or some of them would come to school looking just
Yeah.
like runway, little tiny runway
Yeah.
models,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
couldn't do,
Yeah.
like, I didn't have those type of clothes and everything, and I did a lot of comparison.
Hmm.
And when Theodore Roosevelt said that comparison is the thief of joy, I
Yeah.
understand now what that really
Yeah.
means, because it really does take away your joy when you
Hmm.
compare yourself to others.
Absolutely. I have a saying. One of my quotes is, "When you compare yourself to someone else, your uniqueness is slowly diminishing,
Mm,
because you're allowing your light to go dim, and eventually that flame is going to burn out, because you're too busy trying to understand why you don't look like someone else, right? Instead of embracing who you are. We all have flaws. So that
mhm,
person that you think, oh, I wish I looked like her, You don't know what it is that she's dealing with or what she's had to go through in her life to be who she is. You know, be careful what you
Exactly.
ask for and what you wish for.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly. I read um my mother this is my mother-in-law. She said girls did not like light-skinned girls either. Okay. Okay, mom. Okay. Okay. Uh,
Got it.
I could only speak for myself though. I could only speak for the brown skin
Got it.
chicks.
Got it. But you know what? I love what your mother said
Uh-huh.
because it's truth to that. And
Mhm.
so my daughter is darker skinned than me. One of my daughters
Mhm.
is darker skinned than me, and she actually went through some of that in school. I didn't know. I didn't
Mhm.
know she at the time that she was dealing with
Mhm.
it because we don't do that in this house. We don't do that whole light skin dark skin stuff. Like I wasn't
Mhm.
raised that way. We don't do that. But my boyfriend is very, very light, right? And when I was talking to him about it, he was like, "Well, you don't understand because you didn't go through it. I'm in the middle." Does
Mhm.
that make sense? Like someone my of
Mhm.
my complexion don't necessarily feel the one or the other end of the spectrum. It swings both ways. So I didn't know how to relate to that. That's real
Mhm.
too,
That
right?
is real.
When you don't really know, I don't know how she's really feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell her all day she's beautiful, right? But I don't understand what she's dealing with. I didn't deal with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is the
Hmm.
truth.
Yeah.
Same in my household. I have one darker skinned child and a
Hmm.
daughter and a one lighter skinned daughter.
Yeah.
And I remember her when she was born, the younger daughter who was lighter skinned was born. My daughter who is darker skinned looked in the little window and she
Hmm.
said, "She's prettier than me." And I said, "What?" I had
uh,
never crossed my mind that she would ever
mm,
feel that or think that. And I
mm,
wondered to this day because she doesn't remember saying that, but because she was
yeah.
like 5, but still
Yeah.
in her 5-year-old mind, why she said that.
Right.
Why would she think that she was prettier than her because she was a little baby, or why is because she was like
Yeah.
never she had
Right.
curly hair, she had lighter skin. Like what was it
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
made her internalize those things? It
Right.
was hurtful, and so it
Mm,
was hurt. And so I always try to not pit them against each other.
right.
Always try to
Hmm.
say you're both beautiful girls, no matter what your complexion is.
Right.
And here we go, you know. And
Yeah.
today there was never an issue. Even today, it's never an issue. And they're grown women.
Yeah.
It was never an issue. It was always just kind of like, oh, okay, she's my sister, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, and our race of people, we're just all different shades. We
Mhm.
are, but we, to your point, we do that to ourselves. I saw someone's comment that said, in high school there were the red bone girls, right?
Yeah.
That would have been my mother. My mother, like I call her Big
Oh,
Red.
okay. Mhm.
She red, like very very light. Like she get upset, like she turn red, right?
Okay.
But my father was a darker skinned man. I feel like that's probably why, I'm in the middle
Mhm.
here or
Yeah.
whatever. But there is truth to that. What you were saying earlier about the comparison, and like, there's a good friend I have, where she teaches her daughter, like, don't that double handed compliment, or you're pretty
Mhm.
for a dark skinned
4.
girl,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
you're pretty for a big girl, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That, you know what? Don't even accept. That's not a compliment, and don't
It's
accept it.
not. I'm just
It's
pretty.
just you're
Why
just
can't I
pretty.
be just pretty? You know, and that's it. I'm a woman and I'm a beautiful woman,
There you go.
and that's what it is. I'm
Yeah.
laughing because this is my husband right here. He says our grandson thinks he's white.
Listen, that's what I think about my boy. To be like, he's like a white man in this picture. Like, don't do that because he's not.
He's not white.
Just not white. Don't do that.
Yes, indeed. Let's see what else
I
someone has to
love
say
it.
here.
I
She
love
said
it.
she was teased growing up, but the mean girls wound up following her and coming to her as an adult. Thank God for the love he gave me.
Yeah,
I could give them as adults and never addressed it. Wow. That
that's
takes a
real.
lot.
It does.
That
That's
takes a
courage.
lot.
That's strength, right? Because you could have easily said no, thank you, moved
Mhm.
on, gave a piece of your mind or whatever. But
Mhm.
yes, it's all God. Exactly what she
Mhm.
said. Thank God for the love He gave me.
That's it. You know what? We have a lot of that look at me now type of attitudes where you
Yeah.
would go back and say, I remember when you said this about me and that
Mm-hmm.
about me. Well, you didn't
Mm-hmm.
like me. Oh, look at me
Mm-hmm.
now. Oh, now you need me. And no, he
Yeah.
didn't do that for her. She was able to have the love of God and say,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to do that to my sis. Like, come over here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
Yeah.
teach you what I know now. And I think that is
Absolutely.
the wonderful
Yeah, that's a
wonderful
beautiful
thing about
testimony.
it.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And now here we go. We grow up, and it's not only about the skin color and everything, but it's also about just being, I think, intimidated or
Mm,
afraid
yeah.
that she'll have one up on you. Especially,
Come
I
on, let's talk about it.
see this in the corporate, maybe corporate
Mm,
America, and she may have one up on you. She may be smarter than me. She may be, you know, I don't
yeah,
know what it is, and it's not even about the beauty part. It's about, hey, she might be smarter than me. She might get the promotion before me.
yeah, yeah. It's a lot to that. So, can I tell this one little? It's a short story.
Sure.
Someone who is like we're very close now, but we met in corporate America 2006,
Mhm.
maybe. We met in corporate America. As soon as I saw this woman, I was like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. So, as soon as I saw her.
Mhm.
And I remember walking past the hall, like, you are so pretty. She was like, thank you. That was our first interaction, right? We're in different departments. I didn't even know she worked in the same company because it was different, companies within that building. But I would see her and would always smile. But then over time, someone had gotten in my ear about her, and someone had gotten in her ear about me. And these were managers who looked like
Mm.
us.
Oh wow.
At the end of the day, we don't know it at the time. You don't realize sometimes when you're going through something, why it's happening. You might not could even explain it. But what they were doing was pitting us against each other. We had found ourselves in a competitive situation that we didn't even put ourselves in, if that makes sense,
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
to where it became like, I can't stand her. I don't like her. Like it changed from, oh, here looks like to that, right? That I'm just
Wow.
being transparent through this
Mhm.
conversation. She's a beautiful Haitian woman. Flashback to the huge earthquake in Haiti. That
Mhm.
was 2009, 2010. I forget
Yeah.
the year. And that's when our bond formed. I just remember immediately reaching out, like, oh my God, her family, like everything else went away. Oh
Mhm.
my God, her family. And no, we didn't argue and do all that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it was just those seeds that had been planted in our heads about each other
Yeah.
by other people. So we would talk. I had to train her, I had to do these things, but we just, both of us kind of like looking at the side of our, giving
Mhm.
the side eye. I heard her walking because when I tell you that when she entered the room, she's one of those where you stop and look, she demands the attention. It's just who
Mhm.
she is. And I heard those heels clicking down the hall, and I just hurry up and I ran around. I was like, "No, ma'am, why are you here? Why are you at work?" And she
Mm.
just kind, you just kind of like saw her just kind of like drop, like just the weight,
Yeah.
and like, no, there is no reason you need to be here. And she left. But from that moment, like we just kept in touch, and I kept checking in on her. Ended up buying a nice gift for her daughter because her daughter was having, she didn't realize because the news was on all the time, her daughter was having these nightmares. But from that moment on, we both ended up getting, well, first off, we both watched those same people lose their
Mhm.
jobs while we still had a job.
Oh
So
wow.
let's just start there.
Mhm.
But later on, they ended up letting our whole, like letting a lot of people go in a day, and we lost our jobs at the same time, not knowing it, and reached out and connected, like our bond. And to this day, if I don't tell that story, when I tell you that's my sis, that's my sis. We
Oh
we
wow.
just immediately bonded, and we tell that story because if you don't know us, if you didn't know us, you would be like, say
Mhm.
what now? People think we're sisters. That's how tight we
Oh
are.
wow.
But I'm saying all that to say that you never know when you're going to be put into a competitive situation. And just like the other lady had said, how, thank God, for his love in me.
Mhm.
Thank God for him not allowing those other people to truly, because we could have just like, I'm like us, don't even
Mhm.
talk. But look how someone else impacted that relationship, right? But I do
Yeah.
think our bond is so much stronger because of it, right? Because we both
Uh-huh.
recognize what it was.
Right,
And
right.
we do that too. Going back
Mhm.
to people look like us in management, instead of you lifting us up, you over here trying to pit us against each other because you scared one going to get a promotion over you, or something. Like,
Mhm.
what is going on? That
Right.
happens. But I
Yeah,
thank
it
God
does
for our
happen.
relationship. We are so close to this day.
That's
Yeah.
good. I like to
Yeah.
hear that. I like to hear that, even though how they said it, the devil tried it, right?
He
He tried it
tried. He tried.
because God loves relationships, and
Yeah.
God wants healthy relationships,
Yeah.
even with sisters, even with women together.
Hmm.
Uh, not, it doesn't have to be a sexual relationships or your husband and
Right.
wife and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying
Right.
relationships. God loves
Absolutely.
relationships, and to have women be able to have good, healthy relationships together is
Mm-hmm.
something I believe that he would love to have. You know, you have Elizabeth and Mary, like they were close, and
Mm-hmm.
to the point, here comes Mary. I'm going to help Elizabeth out. Like she's pregnant, she's up in age. I'm going to help her
Yeah.
out, and
Yeah.
all this connection, came about with their babies, and we
Mm-hmm.
know how that went. And so
Yeah.
praise
It's
God,
beautiful
right?
stories.
It's a beautiful stories in the Bible
Yeah.
of women together, and we also have
Mm-hmm.
some stories of the people
Yeah.
in the Bible who
Yeah.
were pitted against each other. You got Hannah and Peninnah. We have those
That's right.
women who, I'm going to agitate you because
Right.
I have the babies. I have all the babies, and you don't have a
You don't
baby.
have
And
any.
Hannah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we do things like that, and even from
Mm-hmm.
way back in the Bible, women were pitted
Yeah.
against one
That
another.
competitive spirit, it's a
Hmm.
spirit. And I think when we
It
start
is.
recognizing when we do things that it's not the person, it's the
Hmm.
spirit, right? It's
It is.
spirits. And that's what we wrestle against, right?
Yes.
Spirits and
Yes.
principalities. And when you understand that,
Hmm.
as hard as it can be sometimes, when you understand that, then you can, when you have the love of God on the inside, then you can pray for that
Hmm.
person,
Yes.
right? And pray that God delivers them from that. Or that, what, I know I haven't done anything to offend this
Hmm.
person. I know that I'm coming from a place of love. And sometimes, you may have to go your separate ways for a bit, right? Or because you still don't want that toxicity. You don't need to be
Yeah.
around that either. He gave us common sense as well, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
but I do think that, well, I do know that they're spirits, and what's happening with this competition is a spirit,
It's
and
a
it's,
spirit.
to your point, since the Bible, since before,
Since
fall
before
praise.
anything,
Yeah,
it's always been there, and I really wish that women knew their power is better when we're together, when we work
absolutely.
together. Unity is better, and not
Yeah,
always at each other, and
right.
trying to hurt one another and bring one another down. So that's why I think
Absolutely.
it's important to talk about empowering one another and being together on any and
Absolutely.
with each other. So
Yeah.
what about you have this see, look, I forgot already.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right? I just forgot the C, the first C,
The
over
collaboration
competition.
over competition.
Gosh, why can't I get that? Oh my goodness. I for whatever that first C makes me like, wow, I
What is
draw a
it again?
complete
Yeah.
blank. Yeah, collaboration over competition. Now,
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
that for you? What is that?
Yeah. So Design with a Purpose, what you said earlier, that's my 501c3 nonprofit. And each year since 2018, we have an annual women's empowerment event. And that particular year was year 4. And the
Hmm.
topic was collaboration over competition. What
Okay.
I honestly can say that I allow God to show me, speak to me, what am I to talk about? Who is
Hmm.
to be a part of this? Like I don't, like I'm listening.
Hmm.
And that particular year was collaboration over competition, because I wanted to get to the root of this, right?
Hmm.
Where does this come from? You were saying it earlier, like we watched it growing up as little girls. We watched our moms, we watched our aunties, like just talking about this. It comes from something, right?
Yeah.
And let's talk about it. Let's get it out there on the table. And I had a panel of women so they could have their different experiences, right? We're just going to talk about it. And I can be a bit of a control freak. I'm type A, if
Okay.
y'all know what that is. Type A personality all day, and I don't even apologize for it anymore, because this is who I am.
Yes, we
So,
are.
but when I go into planner mode, right, like I'm trying to plan, it's like, hey, just letting you know, we got to get this done. So it's like my planner hat on, and I'm like running around getting stuff done. And I got into my own head at some point of getting stuff done and stopped listening. And
Hmm.
that particular year, it rained. That particular year, I didn't charge. Most
Okay.
time people pay for something, they're gonna come. If they
Yeah.
didn't pay for it, yeah, I might not come.
Hmm.
So it was a lot of different factors, but a lot of this comes out of my pocket. And I had a beautiful venue, had everything set up very nicely, and it didn't have a good turnout. Not like my other years. Even my
Hmm.
virtual event had a good turnout. I'm like, okay, what is going on, right? Because I really wanted to get that message out, right?
Right.
So what I learned from that experience was what I was saying. One, I was too busy in my own head after a while,
Okay.
and God had to show me, because he needed to show me that I stopped listening. I stopped following his
Okay.
direction. This is not Tonya's show. This is not, this was not created for me. This was created to glorify him. And
Mhm.
so, in that ministry that I have, a design with a purpose, it's to bring women closer together. That's the goal. That's why I'm having the women's empowerment event. I also got in my feelings because I was upset with the turnout. And he said, what he told me later was, if I can't trust you with 10 people, how can I trust you
Mm.
with 10,000?
Yeah.
Because you're worrying about what someone thinks or why someone's not here or why this didn't go. I was missing it. So because I learned a lot. He
Mhm.
slapped my, I got you. I learned a
Mhm.
lot. And last year, like Chanel can tell you, like, I don't even know how many people was there. It was crazy full. It was such a blessing because I listened, right? He rewarded me. See, this is what
Right.
happens when you listen. But because that message didn't get out in the way that I would have liked it to, I started the collaboration over competition. The conversation continues.
Okay.
And each month, what I do is I bring on just women, again, who God puts in my mind to reach out to.
Mhm.
Without fail, they say yes.
Mhm.
And we just have the conversation. There are specific questions that I ask about them being in competitive situations. How did they handle it? Giving us some examples because we're all different and we've all experienced
Yes.
something different within this competition spirit.
Mhm.
And how can they help other women who may be going through that to turn it into a collaborative opportunity, or
Mhm.
how to make it be a positive outcome, right? And what inspires them as a woman. I love to
Yeah.
ask that question. What inspires you as a woman? Because I think when we start understanding that we are so much alike than different as
Mhm.
women, we have similarities. We've been through similar things. We're women,
Okay. That's
right?
it.
And we should be able to relate as a woman first, regardless
Mhm.
of whatever else is going on. Like, this is a woman, I can relate to her. I can empathize with her. Sometimes sympathize because I went through the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, but that's why, and I just like to get those stories out. We started it January of last year.
Okay.
I ended it in October. No,
Mhm.
October or November, one of those 2 months. And I was like, okay, I'm done. But I'm telling you, that just kept on coming in my spirit. Like, okay, are you done? Yeah, I'm done. No, but
Are
are you
you?
done?
Mhm. Are you
Yeah, I'm done.
really?
And so I kept
Mhm.
going back and forth with it. And then one day, Chanel Monique, Lee, because she throw that on there now.
Mhm.
Chanel said, hey, you should do that. You should start that up, because I would post like my replays.
Mhm.
And I was like, it's so interesting that you say that, because it has been in my spirit. And I think like a month later, I reached out to her. And it would have, my first one started back in April. Would you like to be my first guest? Only because she was the one who put it, like, she confirmed it for me,
Okay.
right? And so it started back up in April. And
Wow.
it's not a particular Saturday of the month, but it's always on one Saturday out of the month, depending on the availability of that woman, right?
Mhm.
One Saturday of the month from 11:30 to 12, where we just talk about it.
Okay.
And we're just trying to get it out there that we can do so much more together.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you, what inspires you as a woman? I had to
Well,
throw it out there.
what
Had to do
inspires
it.
me as a woman truly is seeing another woman be successful, and me being able to help her get there. That's why I do like the website business, the marketing business,
Okay.
and then the
Okay.
design with a purpose, right? Because
Okay.
I truly like helping others. Believe it or not, I didn't come out in the forefront. I was always in the background. Even
Mhm.
as a young girl and being on the choir in church, I would do the doo wop wop in the background. I'm not going to lead the song. I'm not doing that. I'm back here in the cut.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me, like hiding behind the website design and the logo design and the branding. I didn't have to
Gotcha.
be up
Uh-huh.
front.
I can see that. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't have to. I could just
Mhm.
be back here and I'm good.
Yeah.
Um, but that's the inspirational part for me, because it helps me know, and it goes back to my quote. If I've touched one
Mhm.
person, I've done my job, because it's that person's going to go out and touch someone else, and then that person touches someone else. It's the domino
Yes.
effect of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whether I have 10 followers or 10 million followers, I'm gonna do what God has called me to do, which
I
is
like
to
that.
empower other women. So yeah, it's truly seeing other women be successful.
I like
Yeah.
that. And I think that's very important is that
Hmm.
we have our whys and
Yeah.
we have what inspires us. Why do we go through what we go through? Why do we, press so
Hmm.
hard to make
Yeah.
sure other women are okay? And
I
I
know.
hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I can see the whole thing about, yeah, I'll do the website, I'll do the
Hmm.
marketing, I'll do it
Yeah.
because here I am. They're right here.
Yeah.
I'm back here. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But am I going to come up and do, be out in
Hmm.
the forefront?
Hmm. Hmm.
Somebody was laughing at you and you said the doo-wop girl,
I
not
was
the
the do
doo-wop
wop
wop
wop in
girl.
the background. I
Uh-huh.
wasn't gonna do, and I still won't. I still won't sing. And my daughter's like, "Mommy, you have a great voice." Um, I will sing in the background. But I have always been that person who doesn't mind doing a speech or talking.
Yeah, right,
You know,
right.
it's just that I didn't have to, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but someone had made me some logo earrings. Oh my God,
Mhm.
Swanda Warren. Her company
Mhm.
is Irresistible by Swan's Design, but she makes these logo earrings. And so I was like, "Ooh, can you do Miss Positivity?" And she had this microphone, and I'm like, why she got the microphone on there?
Mhm.
It's like, "Oh, this for a speaker. Oh, this for a speaker. I'm a speaker." And I like had to really like get that in my mind, like, "Oh, okay, well, I
Mhm.
guess you are. I'm doing these live talks. I'm doing these live things." It just never clicked, you know,
Yeah.
that that's what
Isn't
I
that funny
was.
though?
Yeah, it is funny. I'm like, "Oh,
Mhm.
okay, she saw
Mhm.
that and I didn't see it." So,
But sometimes it takes that for someone else to see in you what you can't see in yourself
yeah.
and somebody to
Hmm.
point it out to you and for you to go, "Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that is what
That's
I'm doing.
true, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to have a guest on in a couple of weeks in July who is the first person who told me because I used to do this before it was the Christina Nelson show. It was called I Am Healed,
Okay.
and same concept and everything.
Hmm.
Except I just changed the name of it.
Yeah.
And I had her on my show, but it was a blog talk radio show, and so it
Okay.
was behind the scenes because I didn't want to be out. I didn't
Hmm.
want to be out in the front. And so it was
Hmm.
easy to be on the phone
Yeah.
and just talk to someone and it was
Yeah.
fine with me. And
Hmm.
the last conversation her and I had when we hung up, she texted me right after her. She was like, "You really should do this live." And I was like, "No,
No,
no,
no.
no, not
Yeah,
really."
yeah, yeah.
And I think it took me probably a couple more weeks, a couple more guests.
Hmm.
And I finally said, "Do it live. Just do it. Just do it." And
Yeah, why not?
this is before StreamYard and all that, so it was Zoom. And I did a
Yeah,
Zoom and I
yeah.
did it live and I
Hmm.
was just like, "Okay, I got over it."
Hmm.
And I did it and
Yeah,
from then that point on, I continued to go live, but I
yeah,
still don't consider myself a out in the front person. I still consider myself to be kind of like low key. I can do it from the back and I'll be
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, I and the same, in a lot of ways. I remember my very first video. There was someone who talked to me, and they were like, "But does anyone know what you do?" Like when it
Mhm.
came to design with a purpose.
Okay.
And I'm like, "Well, I'm promoting it." And it was like, "But do they know it's you? Do they know you? Do they know why? Why are you doing this?"
Mhm.
They were trying to get me to think, and they were like, "Why don't you ever go live?" And I'm like, "I'm not going live on the Facebook. I'm not doing that." You
Mhm.
know, um, I just didn't think about it, and so they convinced me to do this video. Let me tell you something. I look at that video like, what in the world was wrong with you? You act like you was going to the electric chair or something. Seriously, just I was terrified. I
Mhm.
see it all over my face, all over me, and then I look back now like they can't even shut me up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. I might just come on
Mhm.
live, just because I was given a word. It was something
Yeah.
that inspired me, and I just come on live to talk about it. It's like now you can't shut me up. It was before you
Yeah.
didn't see me now you see me all the time. You know?
Yeah, same, right? And I used to do little words like that, little quick things and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
And it was just to kind of get my confidence up and
yeah.
then when you see people starting to come on and the numbers start going, you're like, uh-oh,
I
wait,
know
people are watching.
they're really watching.
People are actually watching me. They're
Yeah,
actually listening right now. What do I do?
I know it's
And
kind of like
so,
you want to go. You're like, I gotta
right, right.
crawl up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, it's easy to do one of those videos and then post a video on
Right.
Facebook rather than going live because
Absolutely, because you
I
can go
can
back and
talk.
look at it, and you can fix it. But when you're live, you're
Right.
live. So
You're
what you
live and
what you
that's
do
it.
is
So
what you
whatever I
get.
say, yep. So I say something, I
Yeah,
jumble up,
yeah,
they all know it. And that was my fear of first coming out like that. It
yeah,
was just like, oh my gosh, if I do it live, what if I mess up? What if I can't
yeah,
find anything to say? What if I don't have the next question? What if blah 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 blah? And so I
absolutely.
was in my head. I was in my head.
That's what I was gonna say. We get in our own head.
Mhm.
Everybody does it. We can be our own worst enemy. We're in our own
Mhm.
head, talking ourselves out of something before we even do it. Because
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure you feel the same. That now it's easy for you though.
Yeah.
You
Oh
probably not
yeah.
nervous. You just get on.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, I
okay.
just get on now. It's like, oh, okay, my next guest is, and I just
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. It's
and
just
you
because
watch
it's a
your
norm now.
inspiration. Yeah, now it's now it's normal. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and
Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
gosh, well, I think I started going live. My husband and I have been married 3 years, and so I think I was doing lives ever since I was married with him. So
Okay.
so it's just
Good.
second nature now.
Yeah.
Now
And
it is. Before,
congratulations for that.
no.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. My why was because I wanted to encourage women. I
Mhm.
still want to encourage women,
Yeah.
especially women in the realm that my husband and I minister to, women who are diagnosed with incurable diseases.
Okay.
Myself, being lupus and multiple sclerosis, and so
Oh wow.
my husband
Okay.
with multiple sclerosis. We were diagnosed with it, but
Wow. Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
what the word says. The word says, by your stripes I am healed. The word
I am
says, I came to
healed.
restore your health and heal you
Yes.
of all your wounds. And so we emphasize that and we
Yeah.
implant that into others, and
Mhm.
that is our
Mhm.
ministry.
I
And
love it.
so, you wanting to not that, and that's why it's important not to want to compete with people, is
Right.
because I'm really trying to get this message across to you.
That's it.
I really want to see you healed. I really want to see you healed physically, mentally, emotionally, all of those
Right.
things. I really want to see you glow up. I really want to see that in you. And I don't
Yeah.
want to see you, if I see something in someone, like, I know you got it in you. You do.
Yeah.
You can do this, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
We all have it in us. Absolutely. And just can I say God bless you and
Hmm.
your husband, because until you go through something, you really can't truly help someone with that,
Yeah.
right? So
Hmm.
he is using your stories to help heal
Yes.
other people, which I know you
Hmm.
already know that. So that's a beautiful thing, and that's I love to
Amen.
hear. I love to hear stuff like that. Yeah,
Oh, praise God.
that's good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Hmm.
much. And you are inspiring these women. And I see that, it's funny. She said, you said doo wop, girl. And it's funny because the designing with a purpose, it sounds like doo wop.
D-Wop, there we go. Hey, come on now with it. Look at Christina.
I said,
Yeah,
it sounds like doo wop. And I was
think
like,
about it.
oh, look at that, the doo wop girl.
I love it. I'm about to do something with that right there. What?
When I first,
Brought to you by
when you come
Christina
up,
Nelson.
when it comes up, whenever I see that you have a woman
Yeah,
featured on it, that's how I read it. So
like doo-wop.
D-Wop. Yeah,
I love it.
I
Yeah,
don't read,
D-Wop.
yeah, yeah. So it's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I
And at
love
first I
that.
didn't read the designing with a purpose. I was like,
Yeah,
oh. Then I put then it came together. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah. That's weird. I'm like, why she got D-Wop up there? Yeah. That's on with a purpose, because we literally all have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
all have gifts. We have a purpose. My June blog, I think, was, or it might have been my May blog, but what is your calling?
Mhm.
Or are you called? Right? Are you doing
Okay.
what God has called you to do? Or are you doing what you see in someone else do? It's a
Mm,
difference.
that is a difference.
That doesn't mean that we can't all do the same thing, because there's enough
Mhm.
space. Let's be clear. There is tons of space
There is.
out here
There
for
is.
all of us. What I'm saying is that genuine to who you are? Is that what he
Mhm.
has called you to do? Because when
Okay.
it does, it's seamless. Now that does not mean you don't have to work. And that doesn't mean
Mhm.
you don't get tired, right? You know you can relate to this, Christina,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But it's seamless in that God gives you those resources. It just flows. It just comes,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
There may be a little bit of more struggle if it's not for you, right?
Yeah.
And people are going to see that it's not genuine
Mhm.
over time. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you're
Hmm.
trying to do it so much like the other person, like you said, so it doesn't turn out right, and
Hmm.
you're wondering, well, how come she has 20,000 viewers and I have 100?
Right.
You're just like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. I'm doing the same thing she's doing. Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
you're not supposed to do the same exact thing. But there
Hmm.
is space for all of us here to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
100, different shows if we want to. The
Absolutely.
100 women could do the same talk show, and each one of us can be different and reach a different audience, because
There you
there
go.
is how many billions of people in the world that
Too
need to
many.
hear something. There's too
Yeah.
many people for us
Yeah.
to be fighting over the same group of people. We
Hmm.
have to We're going
Mhm.
to reach a certain amount of people and or
Yeah.
certain types of people.
Mhm.
I may reach the ones that have the incurable diseases that were
Right.
diagnosed with something. Those are the
Yeah.
ones that I know I'm called to.
Mhm. Mhm.
You may be called to the entrepreneur, the businesswoman,
Right.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're all called to something,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it's okay if your viewers don't view my show. It's okay if my
Right.
view. We're okay with that.
We are
I'm
okay with that.
okay. I
Mhm.
I, I just want to encourage whoever's out
Yes,
there,
because someone is watching. That's the thing.
someone, and
So
that's the
am I
point.
getting that message across to the person who is watching, the person who is
Yes.
interested, right?
Mhm.
And doing what we're doing today, collaborating.
Mhm.
Isn't that
Yes.
isn't that what it's about?
That's what
It's
it's
supposed to
about. Joanne
collaborate.
Rosario. Joanne
Yeah.
Rosario had a song, and it was called "Lord, in everything I do, don't let me ever take my eyes off you."
Yes.
And she says, in the beginning, "Let me tell you, like my father told me, with everything you do, give God the glory. With every opportunity given, sing a song for two, as you would for a
Mm.
thousand." And
Oh,
so you said something earlier that made me think about that, like whether I have 10 people or ten
yeah.
thousand people,
That's right.
whether I have one viewer or 1,000 viewers. And
Yeah.
sometimes you go on lives and you may see somebody who says they have two viewers up there, but they keep talking. Like,
Yeah.
so what? Keep going. Like,
Keep
don't
going.
look at the number because there's always a replay.
It's
Somebody's going
always a
to look at
replay.
that.
And we all know that everyone's not going to support you. That's something I had to be okay with.
Hmm.
Everyone's not going to support me, but that's okay.
And that is
It is truly
okay.
okay. That's not your people, and it's okay. It really is okay.
Hmm.
I had to learn that. I had to get out of my own head. It's that whole getting in my own head
Yeah.
stuff. For the longest time, Christina, I had a different page.
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to do as you wish. I'm trying to do adorable. I'm trying to do everything on different page. Now, what in the world? It's on purpose. Everything.
Oh,
I have a Facebook page. No,
hmm.
I'm gonna go on my page, and if they don't want to see it, if they don't want to follow
Don't
me,
have
then
to.
go away. You know,
Hmm.
it was like I was doing that to myself. No one did that to me. I was doing it to myself,
Hmm.
right? Thinking, well, what are they gonna think if I come on live, or what are they? I was like, I was hiding behind those business pages. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I'm like, no, ma'am, no, we're gonna
Oh
stop.
my
We're gonna
goodness,
stop
that's
that.
great. I
Yeah,
love that. I love that. Let me get to some
mhm.
of these comments here because this one
Yeah.
is funny. This is let me explain about Vanessa. Vanessa can take any acronym and she can make up any acronym and flip it and do something with it. So we all
Okay,
have our
I love it.
CDLs, committed, dedicated, loyal to our call. I had to put that
Yes,
up. She could do
that's
that
a
with just about anything. Every time we
oh
are on live,
wow.
she comes up with something and I'm like, there she go.
That is wonderful.
She
Listen,
could
she
do
need to be. Is she in marketing? She needs to be in marketing and branding and stuff.
right. Or she's a writer though. She is a writer, so
Makes
she does
sense.
have a couple of books out there. So
Makes
just
sense.
just putting her out there right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
someone else, it doesn't have the name of the person. I think somebody on your
Mhm.
page says that's me.
Okay.
I will speak with one person in the room. That's it.
That's it.
That's what you
You
need to
know,
do.
because if the message is the message, shouldn't
That's
matter. And
it.
whoever showed up, they're meant to receive it. That's
They
something else I had
needed
to learn.
that. They needed that. And
Yeah.
oftentimes when I would get disappointed. Sometimes, you look at the numbers, you get a little disappointed.
Of course.
Especially
Human.
when sometimes I wish they didn't show how many people are on
Yeah.
because sometimes when it gets high and then all of a sudden it starts dropping and you're like,
Yeah.
"Uh-oh, did I say something? What happened?" You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yes, I
You're
do.
like, but we can't look at that because
Hmm.
someone is listening and someone will reach out to me later on and say, I needed that. That was for me. I did a women's
Absolutely.
retreat with our women, and there were women on there that came on and said, I accidentally came on here. Well, I didn't
Mm.
believe in accidents, but I put it on Eventbrite.
Yeah.
And Eventbrite, a couple of women from saw it on Eventbrite and just showed up. And she was like, I had no idea what this was about. I just saw
Yeah.
restoring health, and that's what it was called. We're called Restoring Women. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
she saw that, and she just said, decided to come on. We didn't
Yeah.
know her, we never met her before, and
Yeah.
she's like, this is for me. And then she won a little gift, so it was like even more so. Where she was just like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this was for me. She came in my inbox, and she was so excited. Like I could
Yeah.
hear the excitement through
Yes.
the
Through
words.
the words.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was like, wow, okay, like, all right. So it let me know that I did
It
okay
was
by it because you
confirmation.
right, because at first you're
Yeah.
kind of like, why am I having this conference? Why am I doing this right now?
Trust
Is
me, I
anybody
know.
going to show up? And then
Yes.
you have people, 30 people sign up, and then five show up. Like
Stop, show
you're
up.
like, wait, I
I've been there
know
too
people.
many times.
Yeah, like you said in your with your conference, like the It was
The blood,
raining,
sweat,
it
and
was
tears, and
weather.
it's like
Yeah,
seriously, that's all.
yeah,
But
that's it.
those people who showed up, that's who were meant to be there to
That's
hear
it.
it.
And
Yeah,
that's it.
I had to learn that,
And we have to be okay with that,
and we have to be okay with it.
Yep.
That's
And
right.
eventually, maybe one day there will be. Maybe
Yeah,
one day the room will be filled. Okay.
yeah,
And if it
yeah.
is, to God be the glory.
To God be
But
the glory.
what I've learned also about filled up rooms, sometimes everyone there is not for you in that
That's
room.
right.
Just because they're
Let's talk
there
about it.
doesn't mean they're for you.
Let's
It
talk
means
about
sometimes
it.
they're just looking at you, and then what can I get from here? What's she
What
doing?
can I get? Which
What's
being
she doing?
nosy,
Yeah.
like no support, being nosy. You
Mhm.
probably have experienced this, that you have your live talks, right? That
Mhm.
um, you see your number of viewers, like you were saying,
Mhm.
but later on, that same play, that same
Mhm.
video has gotten like 200, 300 hits. What? So my point is, oh, you're not going to support me. Show me the support,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you're going to go back and watch it later. So that's what I'm saying. You kind of got to get out your own head when it comes to
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
understanding that everyone's not your
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
right? They're not your people, but keep putting out that message that God has asked you to put
Yes.
out. Yeah.
And that is funny. Yeah. After when you look at all the analytics and it all comes up, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Seriously.
really? This was
Yeah.
well viewed this many times? Really? It was 10 people on. How was it?
Yeah. 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 But it's,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing too, because again, that's why we got the replay, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yep. Replay is
Yeah.
fine. Like replay it all you want to.
All
Yes,
day.
I'm fine with it. Good with
That's
that.
right.
And it's
Hmm.
something that you can use as a tool. So if someone is comes up to me and they say, you know what, I'm tired of women being in competition, I could say, you know what, I did a show
There
on
you go.
competition, and
Competition.
I'm going to send it to you. Take a listen if at your leisure,
I
and
like that.
boom, there you go.
I like that.
It's a tool for people to. My husband and I go live too every Sunday at
Mm.
2 p.m. We have a
Oh,
live
okay.
worship service, and
Nice.
so that too, we do that at 2 p.m.
Okay.
and sometimes we look at the numbers and it just doesn't number up. It's like, wait,
Hmm.
what? And then
Yeah.
we look at how many people viewed it and we're like, oh, so people are watching.
Hmm. And then also to think that, people may not be able to watch at that time, right? I
That's
mean,
the truth.
it's so much going on in life in general,
That's
and
the
then
truth.
on social
Hmm.
media. So, maybe they can't watch at that time, but that's the good news about the replay
Hmm.
button, right? They can go
That
back and
is,
watch it
that
later.
is, that is, that
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
And
yeah.
also the one thing is people who are, especially women who will invite you to their stuff all the time. But when you
Mm.
invite them to your stuff,
Let's talk about it.
you're like, where you at? How come you didn't show up?
It happens, and I get that we can't be in every
I
single
get it.
thing, right?
Absolutely.
But so
Absolutely.
I totally understand what you're saying. I really do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I've felt that myself before. Um, but what I try to do, if I can't support you in person, I'm gonna send you a prayer. I'm gonna send you a text. I'm gonna
That's
do
good.
something, let you know, hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm not
Mhm.
there, but
Mhm.
I'm thinking about you, because we can't be at everything. But if
That's
you don't
good.
ever even attempt to show me
Yeah.
that you're supporting me, then that's something a little bit different.
That's different. I had
Yeah.
that happen at the recent conference that I was telling you about, and a woman, she
Hmm.
said, "My girlfriend said she can't be there, but she sent this prayer." And it was
See,
just amazing. Like I was like, "Really?" And I don't
yeah,
even know the woman. I don't
yeah,
the person that sent the prayer. I have no
yeah,
idea who she is, but she
mm,
sent that prayer just to,
yeah,
encourage. And I was like, "Wow,
yeah.
thank you so much."
Because prayer
That
is
meant
what
a
we
lot
need.
to me.
It
That's
probably
what I
meant more
need.
to you than someone being there, right? Because someone's praying for you for it to be
Mhm.
a success, or for God to carry you or give you what you need that day, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. My
I
husband
love
says
it.
encouraging. Yeah, he is. This
Yes.
is very encouraging. Yes, indeed. Even
Hmm.
for my husband. Look, we're talking about women, but it's an encouraging.
Thank
It's
you.
encouraging my husband right
Yeah,
there.
it's almost like I've known you forever, and it's like
Yeah.
literally this is the first, other than the few
Other than
messages we
Facebook back and
exchanged.
forth, but yeah,
Yeah, this is a beautiful thing. That's how you know it is of God. That's how you know that it's genuine,
yeah.
and all that good stuff, right? Because
Hmm.
of the flow, and the bond. Just it's
Yeah.
all genuine. Yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So, what are your future plans, Miss Tanya?
Oh
What are you
gosh.
trying to do next?
Oh, do you really want to hear?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
so well, the design with the purpose, women's empowerment event, is always the third Saturday of October. Always,
Okay.
always, and always. And so I'm getting geared up for that. Been doing the planning for that. This year's topic is silent strength,
Mhm.
where we're going to be talking about, that strength it takes to not
Okay.
say anything, to hold your tongue, to,
Mm.
you know, um, not be that squeaky wheel, because sometimes, it's not necessary.
Mhm.
And some other different versions of that. We have a panel of some amazing women that's going to be a part of that.
Okay.
We're going to have spoken word there this
Oh,
year.
nice.
And this is the first year that Design with a Purpose has introduced the Design with Purpose Awards with the DWAP
Mhm.
Awards. So I'm excited about that. I'm still working toward that. We're going to honor or celebrate all nominees and announce all the winners at the event this year. So that's going on with all the nominations. So I like to always do this. I always got to do something extra, Christina. Okay, just
That's fine.
she's always doing something. So usually like when I'm in marketing, so we would send out email campaigns and things like that, right? So I don't want to just say, "Hey, you won this." I want
Uh-huh.
it to be more personable. I
Okay.
need your photo. I need, so each and every single nominee or that accepts, I'm touching each and every single one of their emails, right?
Okay.
And sending it out instead of it being this automatic or this automated
Mhm.
process. It's putting a little bit more work on me, right? But
Mhm.
I don't know what other way I would rather do it, you know.
Oh, wow.
So that takes up some time. So really, honestly, it's planning the event this year.
Mhm.
It's doing my live collaboration of a competition. I have a guest every Saturday throughout the rest of this year is booked up, and that's no one but God.
Mm.
My spreading
Wow.
positivity with Miss Positivity. That's the
Mhm.
third Wednesdays of the month where I come on from 6 to 6:30. Just talk about my monthly blog for that
Okay.
particular month, because again, the
Okay.
goal is to spread positivity, and it's just different topics that I write about and talk about. So that's what I do and stay busy. My daughter's going back to college soon, and so I'll be
Oh.
handling that with
Mhm.
her. And so, yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on.
Wow, that's wonderful. If you
Yeah.
want to check out more of what she does, go to her website, www.misspositiva-t.com. So that it's
Yeah.
just like you have it right here, just
Yes.
MSPOST. Whoops, see, I messed up already. Cheese. MSPOSITIVI-T.com. Miss
This is what I tell
Positivity.
people: drop the T and the Y and add a dash T.
That's
That's
good.
that's the
I
best
was
way I
spelling
can.
positive. I was trying to spell the up to the
Yeah.
positive, and then I was like, okay, that's T.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah,
Mhm.
everything about the DWAP event this year, if you want to nominate women, you can nominate yourself, right? All of
Mhm.
that is out there under the services page. Go to Design with a Purpose. Um,
Okay.
and hope to see y'all there. Or if you can't be
Yes.
there, just send your prayers and your support. That's
Yes.
what's most appreciated.
Yes,
Yeah.
I encourage you all to go to her website though, and it's a lot of good stuff there. Look at browse around and look at everything. I like to do that. She talks
Okay.
about the design with a purpose in October.
Okay.
My husband and I actually have something in October too. We have a
Yeah.
gathering, and so we have
Oh.
things going on in October. And I think the week after yours is
Oh,
our
really? Okay.
event. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all about being positive
Mm-hmm.
and encouraging each other and motivating women to be more I don't know, encouraging towards each
Yeah.
other and not
Yeah.
look at another. I am not your competition. She is not your competition. That we are not your competition. We are encouraging you to do
Yeah.
more, be better, and if she doesn't want it, then you go back in your secret closet and you pray for her.
It's literally all that you can do.
Pray for
Yeah.
the woman and keep it
Hmm.
going and just say,
Yeah.
okay, what, I tried, and that's all there
I
is to
tried.
it.
I tried.
That's it. One more
And
thing from
God, you
my
know my heart.
yeah, Lord, my heart.
You know it.
Okay, here's one more thing from my mother-in-law. Remember, this is God's ministry, and God is blessing you for helping His people. That's it.
Oh, yes. That's
Yes,
so
yes,
true.
yes. And Marla wants you to know that
Amen.
that's an amazing personal touch. When
Thank
you were
you.
talking about, yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
yes, indeed.
I
All
appreciate
righty.
that. Yeah.
Oh, wow, everyone. Don't forget to check out her um, website. And it's a nice website. It's really well done. Did you do it yourself? Of
I
course you did,
did.
because
Yeah.
that's what you do. Why wouldn't you
Yes, I
do it
did.
on yourself? Very nice, very nice.
Thank
And
you.
everything that you have there, your bio, everything, just go ahead and support her if you can.
Thank you.
You have a group page, right?
Yes, Design with a
Yeah.
Purpose CFS, which stands for Courage, Faith, and Strength, by the way. That's what the
Oh, okay,
CFS stands
okay.
for.
That's what it was.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, Design with a Purpose CFS group on Facebook. Join
Mm,
us, right? We just empower
join.
each other all day.
Yep. It
Yeah.
will be a pleasure. All righty
Mhm.
then. Well, Miss Tanya, thank you so much for
Thank
being a guest.
you.
I really, truly enjoyed this conversation tonight. It
I
was
as
very
well.
good, very inspiring, as my byline is motivating, inspiring, and healing for some. If you had some issues
Yes.
with, trying to look at, being competitive with somebody or comparing yourself with someone, stop it. Just stop it
Stop
right
it.
now.
Just
Stop
stop
it.
doing
We
it.
don't want, you're not that. You're good. You're perfect the way you are. Fearfully and
Perfect the way
wonderfully
you are.
made. God did it,
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Next week is no show as it is the 4th of July already. Good God. Like it's
Yeah,
the
it'll be
4th of
Christmas
July is
tomorrow.
next Tuesday.
Yeah,
Right.
that's crazy. Yeah, it's just rolling by. It's like, is that because we're getting older? What is going on? Like, it's just
What is going
rolling by.
on? Yes,
Yeah,
I was like
yeah.
fourth on it, so that's next Tuesday. So there will not be a show. So stay tuned for details for the show the following week. Is everyone okay? So everyone, please have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. I've kept you, and I want everybody to have a good evening. God bless you all, and have a good night. Good night,
Good night. Thank you,
everyone.
Christina.
Oh, you're very welcome, dear.